Hello learners, welcome to Commerce Diction. In the previous video, I have discussed about what is tax and what is direct and indirect tax as well. So if you have not watched the previous video, please do watch it. And in this video, I am going to discuss about the difference between direct and indirect tax. So now let's begin. First point is meaning. Direct tax, it refers to financial charge levied directly on taxpayer and paid to the authority which imposes it by the taxpayer. It means direct tax is levied directly on taxpayer's income and it is paid directly by the taxpayer to the income tax authority or the government which imposes on the taxpayer without any third party. While indirect tax is a tax which is paid to the government at the time of purchasing any product or services. It means whenever we purchase any goods and services, we pay the price including the tax. So, whenever we purchase the goods, we pay to the shopkeeper with cost price plus tax, and the shopkeeper pays the tax to the government. So indirectly we are paying the tax to the government while purchasing the goods. So it is an indirect tax. Next point is governed. In direct tax, it is governed by Central Board of Direct Tax, while indirect tax is governed by the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. Next is the nature in direct tax. It is progressive in nature, while indirect tax is regressive in nature. Progressive means the percentage rate of tax increases with increase in income, while in indirect tax, the rate of tax decreases with fall in price. Next point is incidence and impact. In direct tax, it falls on the same person. It means taxpayer and tax bearer is one person. It means one who pays the tax also bears the burden of paying the tax to the government. While in indirect tax, it falls on different person. It means tax bearer is the supplier or the manufacturer on whom the tax is imposed by the government. But tax bearer is the person who receives the benefit or consumer. It means the consumer, when consumes the good, pays the tax to the supplier and supplier in return pays it to the government. It means the government imposes the tax on the supplier, but supplier collects it from the consumer by selling the goods. Okay. Next point is evasion. Tax evasion is possible in case of direct tax, while in indirect tax, tax evasion is not possible because it is included in prices of goods and services. Now, what is tax evasion? Tax evasion is an illegal way of not paying the tax to the government. Now, how it is done? It is done by showing the false income or not showing some cash transactions or filing false tax return or showing some fake document and giving bribery to the tax authority for evading or for avoiding the tax payment. So in this way tax evasion is done, which is illegal and it is crime in the eyes of law. So in direct tax it is possible because we pay it directly to the government, while in indirect tax it is not possible because the tax are included in the prices of goods and services. So whenever we purchase any goods and services, we pay the cost price including the tax. So it is not possible to evade the indirect taxes. Now next point is imposed and collected. Direct tax is imposed and collected from assessees, that is individual, HUF, company, farm. It means direct tax are imposed on the person who will pay the tax. Assessee means the person who pays the tax. It can be an individual, HUF, or a company or a farm. While in indirect tax, it is imposed and collected from consumer of goods and services but paid by the supplier or the manufacturer of goods and services. Now next point is burden. Direct tax burden cannot be shifted to another person, while in indirect tax the burden can be shifted to another person. It means in direct tax, the person on whom the tax is imposed has the responsibility to pay the tax. So he or she bears the burden. While in indirect tax, the burden is shifted to another person because the person who pays the tax shifts or passes the burden to another person, that is the consumer. Consumer pays the tax while the supplier or the manufacturer collects it from the consumer and pays it to the government. So the person on whom it is imposed does not bears the burden, it shifts it to the final consumer. The burden is shifted to the final consumer because the consumer pays the tax. Now what is the meaning of progressive tax? Progressive tax is a mechanism where tax rate rises with rise in taxable amount of income or profit, while regressive tax is a system in which the tax rate falls with increase in amount. As I told you, in progressive tax the tax rate increases with increasing amount of income or the profit, while in regressive tax system the tax rate fall with fall in prices. Now let's see some examples of direct tax, indirect tax and other taxes. In direct tax, it can be wealth tax, income tax, gift tax, capital gain tax, security transaction tax and corporate tax. While indirect tax are sale tax, goods and service tax, value added tax, custom duty, octroi duty, service tax. And other taxes, some of them are property tax, professional tax, entertainment tax, education cess, toll tax, registration fees. Okay. Now let's see the terms. Income tax, it is a tax on income of a person. Wealth tax, it is a tax on wealth of a person. Excise duty, it is a tax on goods manufactured. Now sale tax, it is a tax on sale of goods from one state to another. It means the sale tax is imposed when goods are sold from one state to another state. And VAT, it is a tax on sale of goods within a state. It means when goods are sold within a state from one supplier to another supplier, then VAT is imposed. And what is service tax? It is tax on services rendered. Next is the import duty. It is a tax on purchase of goods from outside India. Now whenever we purchase goods from outside India, then import duty is imposed. Okay. And what is export duty? It is a tax on sale of goods outside India. It means whenever we sell goods from India to any other country, then export duty is imposed on that goods or commodity. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to get more videos on this topic and share with your friends. And if you like my video, please do like.